with many people who are on the spiritual path, a turning point had to take place in their life. Some kind of turning point. I try to reflect in my life, when was my turning point? I can't say that this or that was my turning point.
When you were born.
So the conclusion I came to was, my turning point took place many, many, many lifetimes before. And this embodiment, it continued. And in this embodiment, I lived so many lifetimes, so many lives. And each one of them is so happy that this embodiment, I can remember all my all my past life. And all of them is just a continuous movement upward towards the ideal. Isn't that amazing? To me it is. Teaching for so many years, 40, 50 years, I see how people are struggling in a time and age, in a country, in a place where there's so much opportunities. So much choices. You don't have to struggle for food to eat. You don't have to struggle for basic necessities. You don't have to struggle for a place to stay and so on. In fact, you're immersed in excesses. So much luxury, so much pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. You tell people about spiritual life, what do they say? Later on. Now it's time for me to enjoy, especially young people. One boy just left. He expressed how, being exposed to this knowledge, it has changed his life so much. He wants to inspire his friends. What do they tell him? Get off your high horse. Don't bother us with all this. Isn't that the attitude of most people? Yes. So, I don't want to say sad, but especially when I see so much opportunities, and what do you do with it? Squander it. Later on, when the later on comes, what happens? You develop so much disease in the mind, you get more immersed in the lower animalistic nature of lust and greed and selfishness and jealousy, envy, lots of fear, disrespect.
Guruji, why does enjoying life have to be separate from living a spiritual life?
Because there is so much confusion.
Why can't we enjoy living a spiritual life?
Because people don't understand what spiritual life is. They think spiritual life you have to be dry. Oh, it's time now, I'm a yogi. Gotta be serious. And people equate spiritual life like that, a dry life. And if you are happy, joyful, enjoying your sadhana and so on, they say you're not spiritual because of the conditioning. spiritual life, no more joy, no more happiness. Then you are spiritual, which is nonsense. You see a yogi just serious. That guy has problems, man. He needs therapy. Isn't it? And then you're ordinary, you're just interacting with your students and and you appear to be just ordinary, that people think that he's not spiritual. In other words, to most people, spiritual life is show business. People judge you or relate to you as spiritual depending on what kind of designer clothes you're wearing and so on. Put on a show all the time. At this moment, I'm a teacher, isn't it? Is there a special time to teach? I teach you all the time. I don't care who people say, who is so mean. Why you didn't tell me this sometime else? You embarrass me. That is what you need. You need to rise above that stupid ego. Develop some appreciation, some reverence, some devotion, some gratitude for spiritual knowledge. It's so beautiful. You said it all. What else can I say? Have some high ideals. Everybody has goal in life. What is their goal? Some trivial nonsense. My goal is to travel around the world. My goal is to be on this beach and that beach and that. You see my kids like that, following other people. You live in Fort Lauderdale. Isn't a nice beach there? Is there anything wrong with that beach? But you got to go to Miami Beach. Now, what's the difference between Fort Lauderdale Beach and Miami Beach? You probably have more string bikini girls there. Or more hunks. Then that is not enough. I got to go to Hawaii Beach. I got to, what the other place there? Bali and this place and that place. When are you going to realize that all the beach is the same thing? All the ocean, you put your foot in this ocean here, you're touching all the ocean in the world. Isn't it? So for the young people, they think that they're going to live forever. They got to visit all the places in this world. Is your life will be long enough for that? You're just wasting your life, wasting this human birth, wasting this opportunity that you have to elevate your consciousness. By the time they realize it, they develop so much stress, so much mental, emotional problems. Those fortunate ones are able to survive all the drugs and the this and the that and that creates so much of addiction and bondage. So most of this life is spent just to correct all these things. The sooner you realize that and have appreciation for being exposed to this knowledge. You have all the means and all the facilities to accelerate your evolution. Of course, you're going to find that you might be alone because it's a solitary path. You're not moving along with the stream and the trends and so on. But you have to wake up and appreciate that. Understand that I am treading the path to real moksha, liberation, freedom. That ideal, you keep your arrow aimed at the goal, at the target, which is moksha, liberation. Then you'll find everything that you do, every moment, will be moving you closer to that goal. You'll experience more and more freedom, more expansiveness of your awareness. And so even though the majority of people look upon this as just nonsense, their sense is to go and indulge, develop more greed and selfishness and jealousy and envy and hatred and lust for name, fame, power, wealth and so on. Is that freeing them? It's creating more bondage. Whatever level you have reached through self-effort, guided by right knowledge, right guidance, right practice, right livelihood, that is your real treasure.